Greetings from Boca Raton, where the Rick Rule Symposium will really start to heat up today on Tuesday. And for the viewers that can't be here in person, I figured, hey, let's do something different. We're going to talk about gold today, but only for a minute. And then I'm going to introduce you to 3 gold miners, a large cap, a mid cap, and a small cap that might be interesting for you for swing trades or for investments. Only one of them is here at the Rick Rule Symposium. So plenty of news and information for you. Let's get into it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. A value-packed show for you, so I hope. My name is Danny Wilhelmi and welcome to the channel. And before we start, just let me say a real deep thank you to everybody that came up on Monday and said hello. All the viewers from all over the world. Amazing. It was fantastic to meet all of you and have great discussions about mining stocks and, how we all going to get rich and take over the world. That's the plan. And it all starts with gold. Obviously, it always starts with gold. We have seen the James Bond movie. We know Goldfinger. So here's the chart of gold. We know what's up. We know the levels. If you followed the channel, you know 4,215. It's the doink area. And guess what happened on Monday? We doinked right off it. The double resistance. We didn't even make it to 4,215 like on the penny. But close enough, 4,203, and then we doinked off the downtrend, and now we need to wait and see. I am very interested what's gonna happen in the next days in the gold price. Will this doink that we saw on Monday of the downtrend lead to selling pressure like we have seen in the past? Because if that is not the case, and I'm specifically referring to the very last time this happened, which was in the middle of June, and look what happened afterwards, right? We had a waterfall sell-off, we had a run-up, doinked off it, big sell-off. We had a tiny run-up, more like a power walk, not a run-up. We doinked off yesterday. What's going to happen now? This will tell us a lot. This will tell us if the selling pressure is leaving the market. I talked about it in yesterday's video. Maybe, just maybe, all the sellers are out already. And we're not even going to see the big undercut. That is a possibility, and we will see in the behavior of the gold price if that could be the case. We've already seen it in the mining stocks that have shown relative strength to gold and to silver. So now let's see if we have it in the metal as well. And the first line we want to take a look at for this is this line down here, around 4,072 roundabout. If we hold here, you will start people talking about, ooh, this could be a head and shoulders, right? Shoulder, head and shoulder. It's not really textbook head and shoulder, but you will start people talking about it. And when the market starts to talk about these type of turnaround formations, that is when you start to gain interest, right? As I've said before, the narrative is what's really important in the market. The real line that's obviously interesting for us, we all, if you follow the channel, you know, is down here, 4K. What are we holding 4K? But again, before this, I already want to know what's going to happen at 4,072. if we turn around here and don't even go back down to 4K, that is the sign for us to say, okay, it's very clear that the selling pressure is already out of the gold price. And that could very well be the case after 5 months. Maybe all the bears, anybody that wanted to sell is already out. And all we have right now is some shorties. And they're gonna cover the second they feel, oh, we're bottoming. So I am watching the next days very, very closely for gold. We're gonna get some very important indications in these next days. How does gold behave after yesterday's doink? Now, I've told this to the gentlemen and the ladies that I talked to at the Rural Symposium on Monday. I personally gonna start to buy starter positions for the scenario that this is it. This is the bottoming process, and we're not gonna get the undercut. Now, if we get the undercut, even better. I can add to my positions. That's why I'm not going in 100%, not even going 50%. We're talking starter positions. And the stocks that I prefer are stocks that show high relative strength to the gold price. Why is that? Because that clearly shows that people that own this stock don't really want to sell it. And that's a good sign. Now, let me show you 3 stocks that I like. And just remember, this is what the gold price looks like in 2026. Okay? Now, we're going to start, obviously, big to small with a large cap. And this is SSR Mining. That's a $6 billion US company. That's pretty solid for a mining company. And look what we have here. Even though the gold price is down significantly in 2026, SSR Mining is up. We are above the 200-day moving average. We are above the long-term downtrend that goes all the way back to the nasty winter sell-off for the mining stocks in 2024. This is a great looking chart. If I would show you this chart, what would you say? You would say, we're probably down in gold 5% from the all-time highs, right? Because this stock from the all-time highs, which by the way didn't even happen at the end of January when gold peaked, when a lot of the miners peaked. No. This was here, right? This is the reaction to the nasty sell-off in the gold price that we all know. Look what happened afterwards. New highs. This is the type of high relative strength that I'm talking about that I really like. By the way, I don't own SSR Mining. Would be interested in buying it. Not sure if we're going to get a good shot. What would be a good price point to look for? Well, gap fill here around 28.80. There's a gap fill here if you look around 27.20, and then obviously the 200. Those are the 3 zones, kind of depending on how risky you want to play it. But that's anything below this, meaning uptrend, and that's wild. That, I mean, you just saw the gold price, and here we're just talking of, maybe they retest the uptrend. That's possible if we get an undercut after it falls below the 200-day moving average. But yeah, we're way above it, so that's fantastic. The second one, the second stock I want to talk about in the gold miners is indeed here at the Rural Symposium. and that's Banyan Gold. It's about 700 million Canadian, for whatever that is worth in today's world. But look at this chart. I mean, this is incredible. You look at this chart and I ask you, hey, where's the gold price? You would say, yeah, we're at all-time highs. We're near all-time highs. We're ready to party in the gold price, because this is what's happening here with Banyan. Near the highs, way above the beginning of the year, above the 200, above the 50. And clearly you can tell we break above this yellow resistance zone on the close. So anything about 165. And gold doesn't make a new low. This stock is going to party like it's in Ibiza. And the small caps company, this is the one that I own. I don't own Banyan. Is a stock that probably the majority of you have never heard of. And it's called Cabral Gold. They are a developer and close to production in a project in Brazil. And you look at the chart and you say, yeah, this stock is definitely having a Zamba party. 25 uptrend since December 2024. This is where I bought in the washout. Is absolutely intact, above the 200, above the 50. And similar, not as strong as Banyan as far as this resistance zone. It's not at the highs. The highs were here. But what we have here, this stock was up yesterday against the weaker gold market. And as you can see, it's trying to break through this resistance zone. It confirms this breakout, and gold doesn't poop the bed and finds a bottom, right? It doesn't have to make a new high. This stock is building strength in itself. This is another runner. So I'm not saying these are for you. I'm not your financial advisor. You guys know the drill. I'm just giving you 3 stocks with high relative strength that have the possibility to really run first once gold settles down. Now, will these stocks be able to decouple themselves from gold if we get the undercut, if we sell off, if we go down to 3,500 or even lower, as some of the bears say? No. This is a play on strength comes to strength, which is a very popular theme, especially after a long correction where the market, and especially in the smaller, remember in the smaller gold stocks, you have a lot of retail investors. They don't really know what they're doing with their mining investments. So they're looking for clues, and their clue is strength. Right? So money will flow into the strong companies first that are holding up well and that are triggering fresh breakout signals. And I just showed you 2 of them in Cabral and in Banyan that are doing it right now or just on the verge of doing it. And again, this is the scenario that could play out really well for swing trades or maybe for investments long-term, depending what anybody wants to do, if gold can stabilize and find the bottom and build out the bottom here around somewhere around 4,200 to 4,000. That is it for today. I wish you a great day, and to all the viewers in Boca, we see us in a few minutes. Bye-bye.